Storm fans. We're here to preview the 2011-2012 Lake Erie College men's basketball season. We're here today with head coach Cliff Hunt. Cliff, now entering your second season in the GLIAC. I know last year a lot of competitive games you showed you can play within the conference. What do you expect to change now in your second year?
Well, we've grown up quite a bit. We started at any given time last year. We started 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a senior. And I think that we had a lot of tough games, but when the game was on the line at the end of those last few minutes, we still had a bunch of young guys out there, and we were not able to close a lot of those games. So I think the biggest thing that's going to be different this year, at least we certainly hope, is a year of growth and maturity for the guys that played last year should pay off.
You mentioned that one senior, Ethan Bradshaw. He was your leading scorer last year. What are you going to be able to do to replace him, particularly on the offensive end?
Just like with most teams, when a really high-scoring player graduates, you can't look down your roster and say, well, here's the guy that's going to take this place and get those points. But instead, everybody's going to grow a little bit, and at some point, somebody will surface to be that guy who is willing to take and make the money shot and can create his own shot. So we think just overall team growth is going to be kind of the thing that's going to take up those points and those attempts.
Let's start talking about some individuals with the seniors. You have 2 on the team that played significant roles last year, Brandon Smith and Matt Grandel. Tell us a little bit about each of them.
Both those guys started a good number of games for us, not every single game. There was a lot of competition even last year for some of the starting spots. They are only 2 seniors, and we do need them to continue to provide as much leadership as they are capable of providing. Neither one of them is the kind of guy who's going to light you up all the time, but on any given night, I think either of them could have a big game. They both know how we want to play now after being in the program all the way now through their senior year, and they're both really team-oriented guys, which is what we really need in our program.
You also have several other starters returning. You mentioned you had, I believe it was 7 guys that started double-digit games for you last year. So you have 4 others returning. Tell us about those guys and how things are going to shape out.
Yeah, the other spots we have at the point or maybe 2-guard spot, Riley Thomas is a returning guy who started quite a bit for us as a freshman. He really put up huge numbers in high school, and the transition to the college level last year was a really challenging transition for him. But we think that he's going to have a breakout season for us this year because he can really score the ball. And when you talk about maybe who's going to get some of the shots maybe that Ethan did or is able to put the ball in the hole for us, we think he certainly has that ability. At the 5 spot, we have Garrick Sims, who is now going to be a junior. And a good thing about Garrick is each year he's here, he's gained about 5 or 10 pounds, which in our league, you need that. And so even though he's 6'8" and just about as athletic as anybody in the league, we did find that at times, he was a little bit underweight at that position. Now he's up closer to about 230, and we think that's going to make a very big difference for him. Richard Austin is going to be a sophomore for us this year. He's out of St. Ignatius, about 6'7", 4-man, and he might be as talented of a guy as we have because he can go inside, he can go outside. But as only a sophomore, there's still quite a number of things that he's going to have to get better at. There's no question about it. Alex Davis is a guy who started quite a few games for us at the 2 and at the 3. We're not quite sure where he's going to be in that mix because we've got a lot of new guys coming in, but we know that he kind of surfaced last year for us as a lockdown defender, and everybody needs a guy like that on their team. So those are some of the guys that, off the top of my head, are returning players who have started 1 or more games, and we think there's other guys as well who are going to be able to step into that situation.
You have a couple of newcomers who have college experience. One, actually, that was her last year's college experience at the track level, was the GLIAC high jump champion, and then another who's transferred in this year. Can you tell us about each of those guys and where you see them?
Well, let's start with Jamil Dudley, who was a redshirt for us last year, and he came here to Lake Erie College as a very highly recruited high jumper, but he wanted to also play college basketball, and we were we liked him a lot. We went down and watched him play, and the only thing that we felt about him was that at about 6'5" or 6'6", 145 pounds, the best thing in his interest would be to maybe redshirt his first year, which he did do. And now he's closer to about 165, 170 pounds, with a guy who can, his vertical is ridiculous. He's got a tremendous motor. He's a team player, and so we feel like he's going to be a guy who is going to have a big impact on the games. There's no question about that. We like him a lot. Just a great addition to the team. We have a transfer student, Nate Tate, who's coming in as a sophomore. He's a local guy out of South Euclid Brush Lyndhurst High School, and I think he scored over 1,600 points in high school. Highly recruited, went to Alderson Broadus, and we're real happy that he didn't like it in West Virginia because he was available as a transfer, and we're excited about having him in the program. He's an exceptional athlete. He can go by people. He knows when to shoot the open shot. He's got a real good feel for the defensive end of the ball. We think he's a great addition to the team.
And then can you touch on, I know you have 3 more newcomers on the team. Just quickly, each of them, who they are, a little bit about them.
Yeah, we have 3 true freshmen that are on the team this year. Ethan Adamsick out of Union High School in Uniontown Lake High School out of the Federal League, and he's about 6'3". He's a combo kind of a guy. He could play a little 3, could play some 2. That's going to be his spot. He's a real good shooter, and we think that he's got a lot of upside in his future. A really solid combo guard, Trey Howard out of Lima Shawnee High School. Was an all-state type player, I think special mention perhaps. Played in the North-South game, which is a really prestigious game. And he is a guy who I think kind of slipped under the radar on the recruiting scene. Scored it in high school, about 20 a game. Very good athlete, and we just think he has a great feel for the game. Right now we're seeing in individual workouts and things that he can do a lot of things that most people don't know he can do. And then we have another true freshman, Juwan Springs, out of Charlotte Vance High School in North Carolina. And here's a kid who is about 6'5", 6'6", tremendous athlete. Shot 75% from the field in high school, has a tremendous nose for the ball. He's a freshman. He's going to find out the rigors of our league. It's a very physical league, probably much more so than he's used to. But he's got tools, and we think that he's going to be he's going to be an impact player for us somewhere down the line.
And then finally, Cliff, can you tell us a little bit about your schedule? I know there's an exciting game to start off the campaign, and then it gets really home heavy from there. Tell us a little bit how that sets up for you.
Yeah, we're happy to have all those home games. It certainly beats playing on the road. We do enough of that road stuff here in our conference, so we were able to play quite a few home games at one point. I think we had 14 or 15 home games. One of the games we thought was going to be an exhibition game against the University of Detroit. We thought we could call it an exhibition and it would be a regular season game for them, but the NCAA said we can't do that on that date anymore. It used to be a doable thing. In any case, we opened with them on the road. D1 team picked to be one of the better teams in the horizon with a probable NBA player at the point with the coach's son. So that's, obviously our guys will be excited about playing that game. Pretty tough way to start your season, but nonetheless, it'll be an exciting game for us. And then after that, our independent games, we have most of those at home with Malone and Salem International coming into town. We have a return game from Mercyhurst at our place. Urbana's coming back with a return game. And then we're down in Florida over Christmas for the Rollins tournament. Rollins is a top 25 team. So when you look at our schedule, I think last year we ended up playing 6 of our games were against teams that were in the top 20 when we played them. That's just the nature of the beast in the GLIAC. It's going to be nationally ranked teams. It's just as tough as Dale's league. And with Hillsdale having so many guys coming back, and Findale is tough, and Wayne State, I think an Elite 8 qualifier bringing back a lot of guys. It's going to be that way again. It's just a really demanding schedule, but we're a year older, a year stronger, and I think a year better, and we're looking forward to it.
Great. Well, Cliff, thanks for joining us today, and best of luck this season.
Thank you.